This is going to be awesome. Here's that 907 Gamers just went live. Time to get on it. On my phone.
Oh yeah, I should too.
I'm falling.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic then.
Okay. Are we doing a sound check right now then? Okay. Okay. I'm going to read for a sound check. I'm going to read something. Online Flagger certification course. Online format is interactive, informative, and available 24 hours a day. State-specific and Spanish versions are being developed. I had my doubts about training online for such an important job, but I felt prepared. It actually helped me appreciate the job more. Says participant, so you know that the person was willing to put their name behind it, if that person is named participant. Hello and welcome to Dang. All right. Sounds good, my man. I will now read from a Reddit thread that I was reading from earlier. As a sound check. What is the best horror story you can come up with in 2 sentences? I will read my post in the thread, which goes on to say, the normal support couldn't make it, so instead, that person chose to be support, and I was made to be AD carry. No one survived. Okay, keep talking. All right. Here's the best one I saw. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, Daddy, check for monsters under my bed. I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, Daddy, there's somebody on my bed. This is like the best two-sentence horror story I've ever read. The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand. It'd be an awesome story. Okay. All right, should I begin? All right. Good evening, gamers, and welcome to the 907 State Ranked Battles continuation. Started on February 21st at the AvaLANche LAN event. I am Patrick, the Ice Cream Man Daily. My compatriot and fellow all-around good guy and League Mafia member, Brigham Boomstick Perez, cannot attend this event as he is busy fighting impossible battles in another plane of existence. So, here I am by myself with you. We begin today with the 2 teams that were present previously. That is to say, I'm sorry? Hold on, my friends. We're experiencing some technical difficulties, I believe. All right, we are coming back to you now. I do apologize for the delay. We were experiencing a technical difficulty, but we are back currently, and we are preparing for the finals of the state ranked battles, as mentioned previously. This is the continuation of the event from the 21st. And the two teams in question we have here on the blue side, we have WDB Boys, who have shown strong consideration for top contenders in the tournament. On the 21st, when I was in Anchorage broadcasting, they did an extremely good job, and they blew me away with the amount of support and amount of talent that they had. On the other side, we have AK Northern Shadows. Alaska Northern Shadows is on the purple side, on the right-hand side of your screen. They are two very talented teams. We look forward to seeing them play. The current bans we have for the blue side are Scion, Vi, and Callista, which are great bans. There a lot of people enjoy Callista as an AD carry. She's a strong contender. She's got a lot of support, both for her ability to dodge the incoming skill shots and also for her ability to just pump out the damage as quickly as possible. We also have Vi and Scion, who are also competent junglers and top laners respectively. On the purple side, we have Lee Sin, Ari, and Riven as the ban champions, all of which are shut down carry champions in the right hands, which I am confident these are, especially because WDB Boys and Northern Shadows are in the finals, so they have to be good. And we are here picking our last champions. I really like on the WDB Boys side. I really like Lysandra, although I'm not sure if she's actually going for a jungle pick or not. I highly doubt it. It's probably a top lane pick, and if that's the case, that's a pretty solid pick. Although she can be easily countered. I'm curious as to whether or not that J4 is going to be the counter, in which case she might have some trouble because he is a very strong contender as well. Jinx is a solid carry. She's what's known as a hyper carry. That is to say, she has the ability to steamroll opposition with little to no preparation or even and very little in the way of kills or score in game. Because if you leave her alone, she'll eventually come back. She's like another character, Vayne, in that regard. On the purple side, that is to say the Northern Shadows side, we have Graves and Braum as the bot lane contenders, or if you prefer, as the AD carry and support contenders. And they are both two powerful champions. Graves has a lot of short-range damage potential and the ability to also snowball like crazy. Once he gets going, he's really hard to stop. And then we have Braum as well, whose ability to be a moving wind wall is extremely annoying and will probably prove to be decisive in at least one or two battles. Now, that is So Gnar is the name of the team captain for Northern Shadows. And he is, as his name suggests, being the champion Gnar top lane. And that's a solid pick for top lane. He has the ability he has two different modes. For the people who aren't aware in the audience, he has two different modes. He has the ability to be a ranged champion with his little boomerang and the ability to move around quickly. He also has the ability to turn into what's known as Mega Gnar once his resource bar reaches a certain percentage, at which time he goes from a ranged champion to a melee heavy bruiser tanky style champion with the ability to absorb tons of damage. WDB Boys rounds out their picks with Nidalee, Aurelia, and Janna, probably jungle, top lane, and support respectively, all three of which are powerful contenders. Aurelia is known for being very tanky and has the ability to perform true damage attacks, which ignore all armor or magic resistance as applicable. Nidalee is a popular pick for jungle right now, considering she was recently buffed, and changes to items allow her to perform powerful, devastating surprise style gank attacks, as they're called. And Janna is a powerful support champion in her own right, with the ability to improve her teammates' play and to engage or disengage as required. The summoner Materia is known for his crazy support play at the position of support with the champion Thresh, although I'm curious as to see how he does with Janna. I know we will not be disappointed. On the Northern Shadows side, the team is rounded out by Kennen, who will be performing the mid lane role. He is known for also having the ability to perform devastating AoE attacks, that is to say area of effect, which relies upon him getting into the middle of a group of enemies and performing powerful discharges of electrical energy as applicable. This will be crucial because I am certain, judging by the team composition of Northern Shadows, I would have to guess that they're going for an all-in style of play. Jarvan IV, that is the character in the middle, with the crown on his head, has the ability as an ultimate attack to engage enemies at close range and prevent them from escaping by forming a crater around them. This is the sort of style we can expect to see because he'll probably use it in conjunction with Gnar's ability to become Mega Gnar in surprising fashion, and Kennen's ability to perform the AoE stun and massive attack damage over time. So we are currently at 3-minute delay. So in that time, I'll talk a little bit about the champions themselves and what we can expect to see from play. Lysandra, as said previously, Lysandra on the left hand, that is to say, WDB boys side, played by Summoner Captain Ishida, is going top lane versus the Gnar champion. So what we're going to see from that lane is most likely a lot of passive play followed by immediate engages and disengages, as Lysandra and Gnar both have superior mobility with regards to the a bit in comparison to other champions they could have chosen for top lane. Both of them can be built rather tanky, that is to say, rather with the ability to absorb lots of damage, but I get the feeling that instead they'll probably go for a more damaging build that does more, that hurts more over time and in the short term. For the WDB boys side, Jinx and Janna are a powerful AD carry and support combination, mainly because Janna has the ability to control the wind. She can perform a whirlwind attack, which knocks up and disables champions for a small amount of time. Jinx has the ability to capitalize on that with 2 modes of attack: a chain gun, which increases in attack speed the more she uses it, and rockets, which fire out of her other gun she carries on her back and do a lot of damage as well. So look forward to that. And on the Northern Shadows side, one combination you should look forward to, in addition to the Graves Braum combination, is, as I said previously, the Jarvan IV and Gnar combination, where they will attempt to surround and overwhelm their opponents, allowing Kennen to get inside and deal massive damage. And on that note, we will go for a 60-second break. You are watching the 907 Gamers stream of the finals of the state ranked battles. I'm the Ice Cream Man. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have
All right. Welcome back, 907 gamers and associated parties, to the second game of the state ranked battles, the ones that were started on the 21st at the AvaLANche LAN event. I do apologize for leaving you hanging this last game with regards to the commentary. I had technical difficulties because ACS hates me and wants me to suffer. That being said, we're looking forward to another game with some excellent gameplay. The last game turned into kind of a rout at the end, admittedly. WDB boys have proven why they are a superior team in all respects to most that I've seen. However, Northern Shadows gave as good as they got on a number of occasions, and we're looking forward to seeing some more excellent gameplay from them. This is the second game of the best of 5 series that the finals will consist of. So seeing as that's the case, and seeing as the boys of WDB boys kind of ran away with it in the last game, hopefully Northern Shadows will adjust their strategy somewhat, because it seemed like they were being countered on all lanes, and their knowledge of their champions that they chose was a little lacking, in particular the Gnar and Irelia game. The Gnar and Irelia lane, rather. It was a little one-sided. I've never seen an Irelia play that well. I was shocked, to be honest, because I thought Gnar was a fairly shut-down champion, but it turns out he can and shall be countered. Oh boy, that sure was a good game, but as we can see now, we have WDB boys has moved to the purple side of the map as required. The blue side, or the blue team if you prefer, is of course Northern Shadows. So we'll see how they perform. First pick on the Northern Shadows side is Lysandra. Again, a real strong champion, lots of crowd control abilities, which are abilities that give that particular champion the ability to shape and control the battle, including but not limited to stopping, delaying, or otherwise interrupting champions of the enemy team or protecting their teammates. Very strong attack power, very strong attack champion. Now this is an interesting choice. Hecarim Jungle. Oh well, would have been an interesting choice. Nidalee's still a very good champion too, as we saw last game. Nidalee was used to great effect in the jungle at that time. Graves is, of course, a very strong choice, so we're looking forward to seeing more from him. Now we're looking forward to seeing what the two that are picked on this side. Seeing as Kalista wasn't banned by anyone, Kalista is now chosen here. She's gained popularity recently because with the recent patch changes to her, she's become stronger than ever. She's extremely broken, and Riot introduced her just to make other teams suffer. And she's very good at what she does. Sejuani's an interesting choice. I like Sejuani because she's one of the few AP jungles which also happens to be extremely tanky. I mean, aside from Amumu, who's a normal choice, but Amumu's got a lot of problems which prevent him from being chosen more often, I feel. In particular, Amumu has trouble with his mobility, whereas Sejuani does not have that problem. And her ult is as good or better than Amumu's, I feel, given the correct circumstances. So now we see on the WDB boys side, we're going to see probably a top lane and probably a support pick. I'm curious as to who they pick. If they stick with Zillion, he's a strong choice. Katarina is also a strong champion. She needs to be nerfed tremendously. And Xerath, he is also incredibly powerful. Albeit he has trouble with mobility as well. He can engage, but disengage can be difficult for him. Let's see who they lock in for. Currently they're standing at LeBlanc and Xerath, both of which are strong, powerful AP champions. LeBlanc has tons of mobility. Sion, also good. Tons of mobility to Sion as well. Alright, the champions that they chose and have locked in are Sion, most likely top lane, and Xerath, most likely mid lane. Both of which are strong champions. Xerath, as mentioned previously, is akin to a mobile artillery piece, a living howitzer. His kit is designed for massive long-range attacks with tons of damage, but his inability to escape from close-in champions, aside from a single stun ability, render him difficult to use, so we'll see how they do with him. Sion, on the other hand, is a strong melee champion, often used in a tanky and support role, but with the right gear and the right player behind him, he can become a melee powerhouse, so we're looking forward to that. On the Northern Shadows side, we have we have a Leona being picked for a support pick, and that's an extremely popular support pick, and I personally like it. I mained Leona through Season 3 and 4. I like her a lot because she has a very strong initiate, and she is extremely tanky. She can absorb tons of damage, and her kit revolves around supporting other champions, and she also does massive damage in her own right. Trundle is a strong choice too. I'm curious where they'll play him. He can be jungle. He used to be popular in the jungle, but I'm not certain if that's where they'll play him. More likely, he'll be top lane. Meanwhile, on the WDB boys side, we have the last pick of their team is going to be a support. It's probably going to be Blitzcrank, was what it looks like. He's a very strong support pick. That grab in particular is always annoying. Hopefully he won't use it too much, because if he does, I mean, it'll be even more lopsided than it was last time, but we can but hope. And Tryndamere is the choice that he ended up picking, so we're going to see where they're going to go. This is a strange team combination they have on the WDB boys side. I can't even guess where they're going to go, so you're going to be just as surprised as I am. The team comp on the Northern Shadows side is a little more traditional, I would say, with Sejuani in the jungle, Trundle probably top, Lysandra probably mid, and then Kalista and Leona in the AD carry and support positions. So that's sort of a more traditional meta game complement, whereas I'm not sure. I suppose with Materia taking Sion, and Materia is their support player, I suppose it'll be Sion support, which can be devastating in the correct hands. And as we've seen previously in this game, or in the previous game and in the games on the 21st, Materia can do no wrong at the support position, having played multiple champions to great effect in each game. So let's see where this game goes. We are on the 3-minute delay, and now for the 3-minute delay, you got a moment to get up, grab a snack, do whatever you like. This is the Ice Cream Man again for the second game of the State Ranked Battles Finals. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
This is it. Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, 907 gamers and audience members. We are currently in the second game of the semifinals, as stated previously, and what we're looking at now, it appears, is the WDB boys team was going for an invade, but they appear to have backed off a little bit. Northern Shadows, on the other hand, is prepared to catch that Scion out right there in the lower kind of portion of the screen. So we're going to see if they actually do anything there, or if they all go back and proceed as normal. And it looks like everybody's decided they don't want none of that. So both jungles are going to proceed from their original designated starting points, and we will continue as normal. And as suspected, it looks like we have Scion and Graves bot lane. Nidalee will be jungle, Xerath mid, and Tryndamere top lane for WDB boys. For Northern Shadows, we have Trundle, which is an interesting choice against the Tryndamere. I'm not exactly certain how that'll fare out. I would probably place that money on the Tryndamere, especially when he hits level 6 and can dive a little better. Because Trundle has a kind of a poor early game, and he takes a little bit to get going. Lissandra, on the other hand, will probably have an advantage over Xerath as long as she can dodge his skill shots, so we'll see how that goes for them. Kalista and Leona, on the other hand, that'll be a pretty even matchup between Graves and Scion, although Scion has the ability to snowball really effectively, so we'll see how that goes. Here in the top lane, we see Trundle and Tryndamere are both having trouble dealing with the other person, so... In particular, Tryndamere's ability to both heal himself after a fashion. Oh! Here we see Nidalee attempting to destroy Sejuani at her jungle. At a minimum, this will push Sejuani out of her jungle and force her to return back to base, most likely. And she came back. A poor choice. Oh, what a fantastic gank by Nidalee there in the jungle. But will she make it out of it? Probably not. Still, that was a fairly good choice of a gank by Nidalee. Up top, we just saw Tryndamere use his diving ability to get Trundle underneath his tower, and that's one thing that Tryndamere is known for. Although usually pre-6 is a little bit dangerous for a Tryndamere, so that was a good play on his part. Other than that, there's a possibility of seeing more of a passive lane. Although it looks like top lane very quickly is becoming something interesting, so... And Tryndamere backs off at that, so we're going to focus now on bot lane. All the action is. Leona goes in for the attack, gets a good engage off, but they decide they don't want to pursue that due to Scion's ability to disrupt their advance. So. And as suspected, Lissandra and Xerath mid lane is a little bit more passive because Xerath is more of a champion who fights from long range, and so he'll attempt to maneuver into a position that's advantageous to him. However, Lissandra only has to dodge his skill shots in order to survive it. And she has the ability to quickly close the gap with her claws, so we'll see how well that works for her. Scion, with the engage, knocks them both up, gets a good amount of damage. That's some decent poke. That was a good trade. That was a good trade for WDB boys because they did some good poke on Kalista and Leona, whereas Kalista and Leona were unable to respond in kind. Tryndamere is engaging on Trundle top lane. He's only level 4, but as he's proven previously, Yellow Party Hat the Summoner is an amazing top lane champion, or summoner rather. And his choice of champion here, Tryndamere, is a snowball monster. And once he gets a little bit of damage into him, he'll be unstoppable. As you can see, he's giving Trundle fits right now. Trundle probably was not the best choice against the Tryndamere. But Trundle was chosen first, so he got countered, unfortunately. And Leona and Kalista are in dire straits bot lane. It looks like Graves is really putting the hurt on them, so we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do in the future, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went back right about now and surrendered some damage to the turrets. because if they stay, it'll be at their own peril, because Scion and Graves probably have no compulsion against diving them if the opportunity presents itself. Tryndamere is pushed right up against Trundle's tower, which indicates he's not terribly concerned about a gank from Sejuani. In his position, I probably wouldn't be either, because he's in such an advantageous position right now that I really don't think that he'd be in a bad place if she ganked him. Plus, he has good ward coverage, so. Bot lane here. Callista and Leona have stayed for an inordinate amount of time, so I am a little concerned for them that they might encounter either. They might encounter either that Nidalee coming bot lane, although it looks like Xerath is coming bot lane for a gank on those two. If he comes down successfully, it could be very dangerous. Lissandra, on the other hand, is going top to attempt to mitigate Tryndamere and Nidalee's domination of Trundle. So we'll see how these two fights work out. Currently it's a 3v2 in favor of WDB Boys bot lane, and it's going to be a nice 2v2 fight here top lane. And that ult on Nidalee, and Lissandra picks up the kill with assist from the tower. Leona and Lissandra decided it wasn't worth it to stick around with Xerath there too, so they went back. Smart move on their part. Meanwhile, the turret's going to take insane damage from those 3 bot lanes, so they might lose it right now. And if they did, even if they don't, as it stands, the amount of damage the turret took was massive and definitely spells another shift in the favor of WDB Boys. Currently, WDB Boys have a 1.2 thousand gold lead. Not significant yet, but it's a dire port to lead. Mid lane, we have Xerath and Lissandra returning. Not a lot going on right now. We have everyone attempting to return to position and farm as applicable. It must be really rather disheartening to see Tryndamere's complete lane domination right here. He has kept Trundle pushed against his lane fairly successfully most of this time. And it looks like Nidalee and Xerath are coming in. There's a teleport from top lane. Lista takes damage. Trundle's coming in, but he's surrounded. This could be bad for him. But he manages to attack and kill Nidalee, so... Oh, and Lissandra and Sejuani are coming in too, so we're going to see how this goes for them. A lot of sound, not much fury. Everyone kind of backs off as normal. There's a little bit of poke coming from Xerath, but... Oh, and Xerath hits his ult. He's going to try to kill Leona. And misses his last shot. Sejuani, Lissandra, and Trundle are engaging against Graves, Scion, and Xerath. Unfortunately, Tryndamere is pushing hard on that top lane, and he's pushed up against the second-tier turret now, so that may not actually have been advantageous for Trundle to come bot lane. Unfortunately, at the present time, WDB Boys has now increased their gold lead to 3.3 thousand. That is to say, 3,300 gold spread across the team. Yet another commanding lead, as seen in the first game. Gold wins games, my friends, and this is becoming quite another one-sided victory in favor of WDB Boys. I don't want to call it just yet because it's always possible for them to make a mistake because that's what the game is built on. But I am not convinced that it's becoming harder and harder for Northern Shadows to come back. Let's put it that way. Nevertheless, I look forward to some excellent league play, as I'm sure you do as well. Lissandra ults herself within sight of the tower. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Nidalee kills her and then jumps out of the way, only taking one turret hit. And it looks like Tier 1 tower mid lane is gone, which indicates that all 3 first tier towers on the Northern Shadow side are now gone, as opposed to none of them being missing on the WDB boys side, which explains somewhat the gold disparity on both teams. And the first tier turret mid lane, as suspected, is gone now. This will make it harder for WDB boys to establish, or I'm sorry, this will make it harder for Northern Shadows to establish map domination and coordination. WDB boys will have no problem with these things because their first tier turrets still exist. At 11 minutes 45 seconds, the score is currently 3-5, with WDB boys taking a commanding 2-kill lead. It looks like Northern Shadows is seeing a concerted effort into taking that first tier mid lane turret. We'll see if they're successful. Leona dives on Xerath. Misses her ult as Xerath flashes out of it. Ballista is left exposed. Xerath misses his last shot again, and Sejuani uses her ult to escape. Leona takes massive damage from Graves, and it's just Sejuani left against 4 of the enemy team, and WDB boys cleans up against Northern Shadows. Currently, it's a 3v5 on the map, and it appears that WDB boys are pressing hard against that second-tier mid-lane turret, so situation's grim for the Northern Shadows 5 this day. Although they're still not in a position to where they can't come back, it's going to get progressively harder as time goes on, because the gold disparity has increased yet again to 6.6. No, 6.7, excuse me. That is to say 6,700 gold disparity between WDB boys and Northern Shadows. Nidalee in a position to that spear on that Trundle, and that gank is ferocious. Nidalee comes out of the jungle and completely annihilates Trundle. Trundle didn't even have time to flash away, although his flash was down, so that wouldn't have been helpful even if he'd had it up, though. That's why Nidalee's becoming more popular in the jungle, due to that ability of those spears to just appear out of nowhere and do massive damage. Kalista and Leona bot lane are attempting to take the first tier turret at bot lane, the only turret that has yet to be taken. None of the turrets, I should say, have been taken by Northern Shadows. WDB boys still has all of their turrets, and it looks like Kalista is being caught out alone by Sion and Nidalee, who are coming back to deal with Leona along with Graves. But Leona's escapes are strong, and she escapes with minimal health, unfortunately. Xerath dealing with Lissandra mid. Sejuani coming in for the cleanup. And as I said previously, Sejuani's ability to engage at close range on Xerath spelled his doom. Xerath was forced to attempt to use his ult, which was sort of a waste because it's not very good at close range like that. And Tryndamere takes the second tier top lane turret. Meanwhile, bot lane, Scion and Graves are taking the second tier bot lane turret, which means once they're successful, all 6 of their primary turrets will be gone on the Northern Shadows side. Currently, there is a 10.6 thousand gold disparity between WDB Boys and Northern Shadows. Although this is a low-scoring game by their standards, 10-4 in favor of WDB Boys, it's not looking good for Northern Shadows, folks. I won't lie to you. I know if I was in this position, I would be feeling a little bit of stress myself. One thing of note that's interesting to point out here in the lull between fights, one of the things I wanted to point out was the obvious farm disparity across both teams. Both teams have, even if it's just a minimal one, they have a farm disparity. That is to say, their CS scores on the WDB Boys side are usually much better, in some cases tremendously so. If you look at Tryndamere and Trundle, 127 to 57. That's almost 70 farm more by Tryndamere, which is a tremendous number. That's almost 1,200 gold, I believe? My math is not my strong suit, friends, but what I can tell you is that that's a tremendous amount of gold to have on their side as opposed to yours. Nidalee for the cleanup on Leona. Lissandra going in, attempting to get that kill, but it will not succeed. Using her superior mobility to escape, however, Scion's on the trail. Uses his slow, and he ults, but so does she. Unfortunately, it will not save her. Tryndamere, on the other hand, has punctured the first Tier 3 base turret and is now taking the top lane inhibitor. And we are at 17 minutes, 42 seconds. Score is 13-4. WDB Boys taking a commanding lead, and honestly, they are snowballing like crazy, and I would not want to be in Northern Shadows' shoes right now. That is not to say that Northern Shadows is not trying their best, however. They are giving as good as they're getting in some circumstances, and doing the best they can given the circumstances they're in. So, I wouldn't want anyone in the audience listening to think that they weren't trying their hardest, because they are giving as best an effort as they can against an overwhelming team combination. Now I know what some of you might be thinking, friends. By the way, the mid lane tier 3 turret has just gone down, and the inhibitor is close behind, I'm certain. I know what you might be thinking, friends. After a game of 2 games rather like this, the third game, it might be tempting to forfeit. However, I am confident that Northern Shadows will not do so, because I know all of them, and they are all scholars and gentlemen willing to fight to the last, no matter what the naysayers may say. We currently have 15 seconds on the Baron buff, so it looks like that's what WDB Boys is going to do. They're going to take Baron to try to secure their victory, because it will give them the ability to spawn super minions, ultra minions if you will, and these ultra minions will give them the ability to push past the faltering Northern Shadows defenses and secure Game 2 of the League of Legends State Ranked Battles Finals, which were started on February 21st at the AvaLANche LAN event, which was an awful lot of fun, and if you didn't make it, I am sorry to hear that. And I hope that you'll make it to the next one, because they are more fun than... I'm not sure exactly what they'd be more fun than. Lots of things, definitely. Winning the lottery, perhaps? But only if it's a certain dollar amount, say $10,000. Xerath with powerful ult. At this point, he is doing tons and tons of damage. Scion goes in with the ult. Leona has 0% chance of surviving. She should have made her time. Callista, on the other hand, was caught out as well. Tragic end to a powerful champion. Mid lane, and it would appear that Northern Shadows has surrendered, and that brings Game 2 of the semifinals to a close, with WDB Boys taking a commanding early lead and not surrendering it, 17-4, with a giant goal disparity, and that ends the second game of finals as previously stated. Now on to the third game, which we'll see where that goes. I am the Ice Cream Man, broadcasting live for 907 Gamers Twitch channel, and I hope you join us for that third game of 5 for the State Ranked Battles Finals, and hope to see you there. Please don't go anywhere.
Hey, invite sent out to both of you.
Hello, gamers and audience members. This is the Ice Cream Man broadcasting live to you again for the third game of the State Ranked Battles Tournament, sponsored by the 907 Gamers. We have on the purple side, again, as previously stated, the Northern Shadows team. They started the first game on the purple side, and so we're seeing them there again. On the blue side, once again, we have WDB boys, who have taken both games so far and are poised to succeed in the third game of this best of 5 series for the finals here tonight. And we are looking at our first bans from both sides. We have a Sion and Lee Sin, both of which are excellent bans. Gnar is also one that's popular, and I can see why. Gnar is a strong champion. A lot of versatility to him. I'm curious to see who they'll ban this time, because there's so many champions that all of them are so good with. It'll be difficult to pick just 3 for both sides. Interesting choice of ban for Trundle. He wasn't exactly effective in the second finals game, so we'll see who they will pick to replace him. WDB boys at this point must be attempting to get into their opponent's heads a little bit with that one. And Lysandra, a popular pick recently, so we'll see who they pick top lane, who WDB boys picks top lane, because they used Lysandra as a mid laner last time to devastating effect as well. So we will... Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I meant to say that Lysandra was used by the Northern Shadows team last game, and she was completely shut down by Azereth, as I recall. So, interesting choice for a mid lane on the WDB boys side is Yasuo, traditionally known as King of Broken Champions. Once he snowballs, he's impossible to come back from because he does all kinds of critical damage, and his ultimate is unavoidable and ridiculous. Callista and Blitzcrank as the bot lane choices for Northern Shadows, both of which are strong champions. Together, they are even stronger. Malphite, and I'm curious as to who the third pick for WDB boys will be. Let's all hold our breath, but not too long. Nautilus, also a strong choice, very tanky champion, lots of strong engage, recently buffed, and now stands at the upper tier of tanky champions. On the Northern Shadows side, we have possible Volibear, and I'm not certain who the third pick will be, but hopefully it'll be somebody interesting. Anivia Cho'Gath. Well, don't leave us in suspense, guys. Who could it be? And the third and fourth pick on the Northern Shadows side are Fizz and Nidalee, both of which are strong champions. Fizz has tons and tons of initiate. His ultimate is ridiculous, and he is a very heavy AP champion with a lot of ability to snowball himself. Nidalee, of course, has been seen in every single finals game, and indeed most of the tournament itself, as a very powerful pick. I am a believer, folks. I was initially skeptical of Nidalee jungle, but I have been learned. On the WDB boys side, Graves rounds out the 80 carry pick, and the fifth pick will be a support, would be my guess. Or actually, I take that back. Nautilus appears to be the support. So they are missing a top laner. I'd not be surprised if they chose Jarvan as their top lane. He's a strong top lane champion. Can go either tanky or damaging. We shall see. One thing I like about these games, and one thing I like about both teams, is that a lot of coordination and excellent communication are going on here. I feel like, they're taking champions early so as to deny them to their opponents and to misdirect their opponents as necessary. Yorick rounds out the Northern Shadows team choices. Yorick is an interesting choice. He's a fairly strong champion. It looks like he's going top lane, so that'll be an interesting choice against Jarvan. I admit to being curious. I've never seen a Jarvan versus Yorick. But if it's any indicator, due to the last 2 games, I am not convinced that it might be very good versus the yellow party hat, the summoner playing Joy 4. As we've seen, he's very, very good and very unforgiving. All right, gamers, we are going to our 3-minute delay, which will allow the game to catch up a little bit, and we will be right back with you at that time. I am the Ice Cream Man, here for the third game of the finals of the League of Legends Alaska State Ranked Battles Tournament. Please stay tuned, friends. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Thank you.
Check it out, they go slide.
You so fine walking by that you caught my eye. Trying to ride by your side and spend the night. But I'm gone in the zone, so take me home. But when we done having fun, then I'm racing home. 'Cause one night only, you can call me boo, 'cause I'm ghost.
All right, guys, we are coming at you live from the third game of the finals, as previously stated, for the statewide Ranked Battles tournament. Started on the 21st at the AvaLANche LAN event. This is a continuation of said series, with this being the third game of 5 that will be played between Team Northern Shadows on the purple side and Team WDB Boys on the southern side. That is to say, the blue side. And it does appear that the way Northern Shadows is bunched leads me to believe that they are going to perform an invasion of the WDB Boys side. However, WDB Boys is not set up for one themselves that I'm aware of. So we're going to see where they go with this here. Blitzcrank is a good choice for an invade because they're going to attempt to snag him as appropriate. Both teams are feeling each other out right now, trying to gain the upper hand. Oh, and Blitz misses his pull on Yellow Party Hat. One flash down. A missed spear. Ooh, that's got to cost him. Could have been an opportunity for a good gank right there, beginning early game advantage. Unfortunately, Yellow Party Hat is missing, and nothing will come of it. Callista and Blitzcrank going hard to the paint against Yasuo, but nothing will come of that either. Copious wards placed already. Good vision is essential to winning this game, my friends, and hopefully we'll see some good ward coverage from both sides. That's one of the things I really enjoy watching in these games, is the basics that are on display. It's one thing to do an excellent play and get a pentakill or something, but the basics are what win games. Excellent CS, last hitting, avoiding skill shots, that sort of thing. One of the things that's important is vision. One thing that's also interesting to point out is that Sonar, the team captain on Northern Shadows, has decided to go jungle this round, and Cricket, normally playing a different position, now playing top lane against that Jarvan the Fourth. And it appears he's coming out negatively versus that Jarvan. But that's not a terribly big surprise as we've seen. Yellow Party Hat is an amazing champion, and he changed my minimal top lane ability. And that looks like first blood, friends. J4 dominating Yorick top lane for an instant kill. And he walks away with almost half health. Meanwhile, Fizz is going to have to avoid those whirlwinds from Yasuo if he hopes to survive. And bot lane, we see Callista and Blitzcrank holding their own for the most part against Nautilus and Graves, but haven't really seen much in the way of engages from either one either, so we'll see how that goes. And a pull and a knock-up on Nautilus for some pretty good poke. Graves' short range prevents him from reacting appropriately. And Nautilus is below half health, forced to use health potions at this early stage of the game. It is currently 3 minutes 50 seconds. No team has a significant farm advantage on the other, although as usual, WDB Boys has a gold advantage, period. And the pull on Nautilus again. He's just such a big target that they can't help but grab him. Callista, unfortunately, is going for Nautilus, which is not a terribly good idea because, although she gets the kill on Nautilus, Graves gets the kill on her. Definitely not worth, my friends. Remember, always go for the AD carry. Avoid that support. No matter how low he may seem, he's not as valuable as the AD carry. Meanwhile, J4 using his impressive ability to close distances to perform extreme harass and really give Yorick the business, unfortunately. And here we see J4. Here we see J4 engaging the enemy Nidalee, that is to say Northern Shadows Nidalee jungle, and doing serious damage to him as well. It would appear that J4 with three longswords is going straight damage this game, relying upon Nautilus to provide all the tank. And Malphite as well, I imagine, although we haven't seen what Malphite's going to build. I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist or a Riot staff member to understand where this is going. At this point in the game, 5 minutes 33 seconds in, we've already seen a commanding farm advantage by Malphite over Nidalee, and definitely Yasuo over Fizz, who refuses to get close to Yasuo for fear of getting wrecked. Currently, Yasuo is pushing him up against the tower. The zone is tremendous, folks. Fizz is in a bad spot. Hopefully, we can see Nidalee come mid soon, but we'll see. She's being counter-jungled tremendously. Currently, J4 and Malphite are both at Fizz's location, attempting to get the advantage on him at 3v1. I'll bet you anything they're going to attempt to dive on him, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, there it is. Places Ignite, can't capitalize. And Nidalee comes around for the kill, but there's 3 of them there. She's probably going to escape, and she does. Excellent play, although I'm sure both teams are currently using some form of voice over IP communication, be it Skype or TeamSpeak or what have you. It's obvious that WDB Boys plays and practices quite a bit, and their communication is stellar. They know their roles, they know each other. Truly a devastating team. I will do everything in my power in the future to avoid playing them. Yasuo has his Whirlwind available, and he also has his ult, so we may see him attempt to do that to finally kill that annoying Fizz as soon as possible. Wow. Graves just unloaded on Blitz and completely devoured him. He burned into ashes, my friends. There's nothing left but the rebar. Callista's using her ability to move around and avoid skill shots to dance around Nautilus's attempts to engage, but it's only a matter of time. But she's got good health and most of her mana, so she can probably keep this up for a while, at least until Malphite shows up. Now it's a 3v1, and they're going to attempt to engage this Callista, probably with Malphite opening up with his ultimate. Blitz is coming from the top too, although I wouldn't put any faith in his ability to stop the outcome here. I stand corrected. Malphite doesn't go anywhere. That nice pull from Blitz. Going to take some turret hits from Graves. Still not enough to defeat them, but Callista didn't walk away empty-handed. Unfortunately, Callista being dead means that Graves can continue to farm unimpeded, because Blitz doesn't have the ability to really stop him. And so as a result, we're seeing the disparity in gold and farm run away from Callista, with Graves being 3-0-0, that is to say 3 kills, 0 deaths, 0 assists, and Callista, unfortunately, 1 kill, 2 deaths, 1 assist. 61-42 farm advantage. Meanwhile, Yasuo mid lane is definitely dominating this Fizz. One thing I'm interested to point out is that although J4 appears to have the upper hand in every team fight that they've engaged in, as seen here, Yorick is dominating him as insofar as anyone is dominating anyone with the flash and the kill on Yorick. But Yorick appears to be winning the CS battle, at least for the moment. And Graves getting knocked up and being engaged upon by that Nidalee. Nidalee takes the kill. Malphite goes for the ult, but Fizz flashes first. Malphite's ult is wasted. However, with 3 champions versus Fizz's 1, it was only inevitable that something bad would happen to Fizz. Can he escape? So it would appear he moves through the hole in the wall and probably is going back to base. However, that could have ended poorly for Fizz, and it's definitely ending poorly for Northern Shadows right now. Although the score is only 5-4 with 1 kill to WDB Boys' advantage, they definitely have the tower and the lane domination with more wards and more coordination amongst their team members. Meanwhile, York pushing top lane pretty hard. We'll see if they let him take it unopposed. I don't think he'll be able to get it in time before someone shows up. Probably Nautilus and Malphite. J4 appears to be moving that direction as well. And right here, we see Chicken with no ward coverage. At least not enough to show him that there's multiple people approaching his position. Nautilus and J4 both are attacking him, and they are attacking the wrong one. They are attacking the clone right now. So it may be, it looks like York gets away with the kill on J4 because he attacked the wrong one. And Yellow Party has no excuse because the wrong one is clearly marked on like a Shaco clone. So let's all remind him of that in the future. Yorick gets away with the double kill. Unfortunately, he's taken down by the Malphite who shows up. Blitzcrank going hard to the paint against Graves, but doesn't feel like chasing. Unfortunately, Graves goes back in because he doesn't think, I guess. However, Graves does tons of damage too, so there's always that. Will he make it out with the double kill? Probably not. But it was good. Considering there were 3 bot, him getting 1 at all made it a fairly even trade. The score is 8-8 with a significant farm disparity in favor of WDB Boys. 19,000 across the team to 17.4 across Northern Shadows. So again, a large farm disparity which equals a large gold disparity is in evidence for WDB Boys as opposed to Northern Shadows. If anything is to be taken away from this, friends, it's always be farming. I personally am in love with J4's build. 4 long swords and a phage. Definitely top tier stuff, folks. We're seeing some light skirmishing around mid. Looks like we might see a team fight here in the immediate future. We have 4 members of Northern Shadows versus the 3, now 2 of WDB Boys. With Nautilus moving off, it's just Yasuo. However, they don't appear willing to engage, Northern Shadows that is. And now we have Malphite and J4 attempting to destroy this Yorick. Let's see if the same trick works. I don't think so, but he tried. He did his best. Couldn't expect the same trick to work twice. Unfortunately, Yorick was not able to capitalize on his ultimate's ability of bringing him back to life for 10 seconds after death. Currently, Northern Shadows is engaging Dragon. Graves and Yasuo are here in an attempt to not allow it to be taken uncontested, but there's nothing they can do. Too little, too late. Oh, and Yasuo uses his ultimate, gets that double kill. Graves picks up kill on Callista, and suddenly Northern Shadows is on the back foot again. We are seeing some excellent play from both sides, however. Unfortunately, it appears that WDB Boys again is going to walk away with it, with a 12-8 fairly commanding lead at 14 minutes, 19 seconds. In Northern Shadows' defense, however, they are not just giving up the game. They are not trolling or insisting that they just give it all up. They are giving as good as they're getting, or at least attempting to, and for that we should salute them, friends, because they are everything that 907 Gamers embodies. The will to never give up, and the ability to take a punch with a smile on your face. Here's we're going to see some action at the top lane. First tier turret on Northern Shadow's side is being contested by Jarvan IV. Yorick and Nidalee are going to attempt to stop him because they are sick of his business and they don't want any more of it. Unfortunately, J4 does tons of damage and walks away with the victory against Nidalee, and I feel kind of bad for that Nidalee, to be honest. Although that was a good kill by Yorick. That was a good kill on him because J4 went too ham and paid the price for it. However, he's not in any danger, and WDB Boys still holds a commanding lead at 13-9, 15 minutes 45 seconds. Mid lane, we see fighting. We see a lot of battle between 3 members of Northern Shadows and 3 members of WDB Boys. Graves takes the Fizz, and it appears they're going to push on the 3rd tier base turret for Northern Shadows. Farm advantages being a common component of these games. We are seeing a 5.1 thousand team gold advantage for for WDB Boys at the present time. And that 3rd tier mid lane turret in Northern Shadows base goes down. They are going to attempt to contest against that inhibitor, but I don't think they'll be able to take it based upon the number of people defending it. They don't want to just sit there and take damage. That wouldn't be a good idea for anyone. Unfortunately, that wombo from Malphite and Yasuo. That is a deadly combination, and I'm certain that's one of the reasons they chose those 2 champions. Malphite used his ult to go in and completely obliterated Nidalee, knocking her into the air. Yasuo finished her off with an ultimate from himself. Devastating stuff, friends. Yet another reason both of those champions are terrible and broken, and when you see them together, you should run the other way.